Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has defended her handling of immigration during her first interview on Fox News. Our Sky News Washington correspondent Annalise Nielsen joins us live from Georgia. Annalise, this was a pretty significant interview. There's no Democratic candidate has done an interview with Fox News in 8 years.
And look, this shows a huge change in strategy from Kamala Harris's campaign, and you don't change the strategy 3 weeks out unless you know what you're doing isn't working now. So that's the important context for all this, and it was a combative half-hour interview. You could see there at the end Bret Baier was tempting her with a bit more time, but she deferred to her handlers. And so what we saw was a very early focus on immigration. We'll show you that in a moment, but there was also this really serious back and forth around what she would actually do differently than Joe Biden. This is the big issue for Kamala Harris's campaign. She wants to be the new candidate, the fresh face, the new generation of leadership, but then she also has the task of defending the last 4 years, touting the positives from the last 4 years, and saying that they've achieved enough that people should vote for her again. So this is what has been part of the response in this interview to that very question.
If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade, people have become. But listen. Over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president, one, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous.
Laura, at the very beginning, Bret focused on immigration. This is the #1 issue we hear from Republican voters that they care about. They tie it to everything going wrong in this country, from the economy to crime and safety. So it is a major topic. And the first question she was asked was the exact number of people who've come into this country illegally. She didn't answer it. We know at a minimum 8 million people have come over the southern border that are known of. They expect there's around 2 million more, but Donald Trump often says that 20 million people have come into the country illegally. So this is a point of contention. She didn't clarify it. She's yet to put a number on it, and people are scared about that number. But he asked questions about what she would have done differently, why they moved to cancel so many of the executive orders early on, and what she would do differently. And this was some of the combative back and forth on that topic.
The first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021.
Exactly.
It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the... Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me finish,
You had the White House and the House and the Senate, and they didn't bring up that bill.
I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising, and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
We recognized from day one that, to the point of this being your first question, it is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people.
And Laura, the other question she answered was on Joe Biden's cognitive fitness. This has been a tough question for her to handle on the campaign. They've never said that anything's wrong with Joe Biden. He's still the president, and now they're trying to attack Donald Trump's cognitive fitness. And so it has become, again, a feature of this campaign.
It certainly has. Annalise, great to see you there in Georgia.